Most people live as emotional puppets, tugged by every glance, every insult, every unexpected silence. But no one talks about it. Not at dinner, not at work, not even alone in the dark. What if nothing, no word, no person, no betrayal could rattle you ever again? What if you woke up tomorrow and the world still spun, but you didn't flinch? Because here's the truth. If you don't master your internal world, the external one will own you. Every trigger, every distraction, every ego game, it wins until you don't care to play. But this isn't about being numb. It's about becoming undisturbable. Not cold, calm, not reactive, ruthless with your peace. Ever seen a monk in a storm? He's not scared. He's watching. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Ready to flip that fate? Number 1, disappear to dominate. Not because the world doesn't deserve to see you, but because you don't need to prove anything. Real growth is silent. Noise is ego screaming for attention. Silence is strategy building momentum. You're not behind. You're just underground, growing roots too deep to be shaken later. You don't need to post every win, every struggle, or every plan. You need to perfect your movement in peace. Power doesn't come from being seen. It comes from being prepared before you're seen. Think about it. A seed doesn't shout when it's growing. It cracks in the dark, alone, invisible. But one day, it breaks the surface, and the world sees the bloom, not the battle. This is the mindset shift. Stop seeking validation for the process. Start seeking mastery in the silence. Because when you're always showing, you're also always exposed. The loudest person in the room is often the most insecure. The quiet one? That's the threat nobody saw coming. Are you willing to be overlooked long enough to become undeniable? Privacy is power. And in a world addicted to broadcasting, the ability to withhold becomes elite. While others chase applause, you chase alignment. While they collect followers, you collect discipline. What they call ghosting, you call growing. Disappear not out of fear, but focus. While they watch each other, you're watching the mirror. You're sharpening in silence, staying dangerous without a sound. Because power grows in private. Keep watering. 2. Starve the drama. Feed the mission. Every time you react, you pay in power. Attention is currency, and not everyone deserves a single cent of it. The world will test you, poke, provoke, and pull, just to see if you'll flinch. And when they beg for a reaction, the strongest move you can make is stillness. Indifference isn't weakness, it's control. It's the ability to stay locked on your mission while the world burns around your feet and still not lose your focus. Drama is a trap. It thrives on your energy. It feeds off your explanations. But here's the truth. You owe no one your defense. Let them misunderstand you. Let them assume. Because every time you feel the urge to prove yourself, you hand over the script, and they start writing your story. The people who win aren't the loudest. They're the most locked in. When chaos knocks, they don't answer. They're too busy building. While others spiral, they simplify. While others gossip, they grind. Because the mission doesn't need noise, it needs obsession. Ask yourself, are you chasing clarity or chasing applause? Are you trying to build or be liked? Make your work louder than your words. Let your success be your explanation. Let your consistency speak in rooms your ego has no business entering. You don't gain ground by arguing. You gain it by advancing, silently, relentlessly. So the next time they want drama, give them distance. Let them fight themselves. You've got something bigger to do. You lose power every time you explain yourself. Save it. Starve the drama. Feed the mission. 3. Be cold, not cruel. There's a difference. Cold isn't careless. It's calculated. It's what happens when you stop letting emotion drive the car and start using it as fuel. Emotions are tools, not triggers. They're data, not commands. You feel anger? Good. Now channel it into discipline. You feel fear? Perfect. Let it sharpen your awareness, not shatter your resolve. Too many people confuse control with repression. But real control isn't fake. It's forged, built under pressure, tempered through restraint. It's what separates the impulsive from the unshakable. The person who stays calm when others lose their minds. That's the person who wins. That's the person nobody can affect anymore. Being cold under pressure doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't fold. You see the storm, and you choose stillness. You hear the insult, and you give silence. You feel the pull to react, and you stay rooted. That's not weakness. That's elite strength. That's emotional self-respect. You weren't born to be manipulated by every mood that hits you. You weren't built to fall apart at every confrontation. People will try to trigger you. Life will try to shake you. And when they do, here's your power move. Don't respond from heat. Respond from clarity. The next time someone tests you, don't prove your strength. Hold it. Be cold. Not because you're empty, but because you're full of intention, full of control, full of purpose. Control isn't fake. It's forged. In silence, in stillness, in moments where most people would break. You're not heartless. You're heatless under pressure. And that's why nobody and nothing will ever control you again. 4. Kill the inner noise first. Because the real battlefield isn't out there, it's inside. When someone's words cut deep, it's not because they're sharp. It's because there's something in you still open, still uncertain, still seeking validation. People can't offend what you've already owned. They can't shake a foundation that's been built, brick by brutal brick, through self-awareness. The insult only lands if you believe it might be true. If every opinion rattles you, the problem isn't them. It's your identity. It's fragmented, borrowed, unstable. You don't need thicker skin. You need a stronger core. The more you know yourself, the less you need to explain yourself. When you've accepted all of you, your flaws, your failures, your past, nothing outside you has leverage anymore. Here's the truth. Most people aren't triggered. They're just untrained. Untrained in inner stillness. Untrained in self-respect. Untrained in separating stimulus from response. And so they explode, break, argue, defend, because the noise outside matches the chaos within. But imagine this. A version of you so aligned, so grounded, that no comment can shake you, no gossip can reach you, and no loss can define you. That version doesn't flinch. It observes. It recalibrates. It leads. To get there, you don't need more motivation. You need inner mastery. You need to sit with the discomfort. Question the voice in your head. Rewire the script. Build an identity so stable that silence becomes your default and self-trust becomes your weapon. Stop blaming the world for triggering you. Train yourself. Build yourself. Own every shadow. Because when the inner noise dies, the outer world loses its grip. You're not triggered. You're untrained. But that ends now. 5. Obsess over systems, not outcomes. Because outcomes are symptoms. What you see in your life today is just a delayed reflection of how you've been thinking, acting, and choosing for weeks, months, or even years. Results don't happen in real time. They lag. And if you obsess over them, you'll always feel behind. You'll always feel like you're not enough, not there yet, not doing it right. That's because chasing results is emotional. It's reactive. It's you begging the world to validate your effort. But systems? Systems are sovereign. Systems are the quiet routines, the boring repetitions, the daily disciplines nobody applauds but everybody eventually sees. Systems are control. When you build a system, you don't hope for results. You expect them, because they become inevitable. A sharp mind doesn't chase. It builds. It doesn't wish. It engineers. Most people live in outcome obsession. Did it work? Am I there yet? What will they think? But the real shift happens when you flip that. When your question becomes, did I show up? Did I execute? Did I keep the promise to myself? That's power. That's internal leadership. That's building a life that compounds. Want peace? Trust your system. Want confidence? Refine your system. Want to be untouchable? Fall in love with the process so deeply that results feel like a side effect, not a scoreboard, because outcomes don't lie, but they lag. And when you stop measuring your worth by what's showing and start investing in what you're sowing, nobody and nothing can shake you. You're no longer playing a short game. You're not performing. You're producing. Chase results, and you'll burn out. Build systems, and you'll break through. 6. Restraint is power. Reaction is slavery. Every time you snap, you surrender control. You hand them the remote and let them push your buttons, and the moment they can make you react, they own a part of you. Wildness may feel powerful in the moment, but it's weakness dressed as strength. It's impulsive. It's emotional debt, paid in regret, pride, and lost leverage. Restraint, on the other hand, is a weapon. Silent, precise, strategic. It's what separates the person who leads from the one who follows their emotions off a cliff. When you master restraint, you become unshakable. You watch, calculate, decide, instead of flinching, breaking, or defending. It's not passivity, it's presence, and it's rare. You don't need to react to prove you care. You don't need to explode to show strength. True power is choosing not to respond, because your energy is too valuable to be spent on things that don't serve your vision. Ask yourself, how many times have you given away your peace just to prove a point? How many arguments stole hours you'll never get back? How many apologies were written by your ego, not your values? Every reaction costs you leverage. Every outburst takes you further from who you're becoming. Restraint means you're not just responding to life, you're commanding it. You're not the puppet of emotion, you're the architect of intention. The next time someone tests your patience, hear this. They want your fire. Don't give it. Give them stillness. Give them silence. Give them a version of you so disciplined they question their own noise. Because restraint is not weakness, it's dominance. And once you master it, nobody and nothing will ever control you again. 7. Play dumb, stay sharp. Because the most dangerous person in the room is the one who sees everything and says nothing. In a world obsessed with performance, silence is your edge. Let them think you don't know. Let them underestimate you. That's leverage. Because while they're busy trying to impress, you're studying the game. While they speak, you watch. While they rush to prove themselves, you sharpen your intent. The loudest person in the room is the easiest to manipulate because they reveal their hand. Their ego betrays them. But when you master the art of restraint, when you withhold your insight, your knowledge, your strength, you become unreadable. And unreadable means untouchable. That's real power, not in how loud you speak, but in how well you listen. Don't confuse stillness with stupidity. Don't mistake quiet for a lack of clarity. There's brilliance in mystery. There's advantage in patience. Sometimes, the smartest move is to look unimpressed, uninterested, unaffected, while inside, you're 3 steps ahead. You don't have to clap back. You don't have to prove you're right. You don't even have to correct them. Let them think they're ahead. Let them believe they've figured you out. All the while, you're moving differently, quietly, strategically. Power isn't loud. It's subtle. It's calm. It's blank-faced and razor-sharp underneath. Because when they can't read you, they can't reach you. When they can't predict you, they can't play you. And when they realize too late that you weren't the fool, you were the threat all along, by then it's already done. Power wears a blank face. Stay sharp, stay silent, and nobody and nothing will affect you again. 8. Make peace with the worst case. Because once you do, fear loses its grip, and with it, so does control. Most people are manipulated not by force, but by what they're afraid to lose. Reputation, approval, comfort, even identity. That fear becomes a leash. But here's the truth. If you've already let go in your mind, they can't take it in reality. You become untouchable the moment you stop negotiating with fear. Imagine this. You play out the worst. You fail, you get rejected, you're misunderstood, doubted, left alone. And yet, you're still standing. You're still breathing. Now ask yourself, what part of that story truly breaks you? Most of the time, it's just ego pretending to be survival. Fear is a liar, and it thrives in ambiguity. But when you face it directly, define it, stare it down, you strip it of power. You take the monster out of the dark and realize it's made of paper. That's not recklessness, that's liberation. Because now, you're no longer avoiding life, you're confronting it. And confrontation builds courage. When you make peace with the worst case, you operate with a kind of freedom that terrifies people. You can't be blackmailed by shame. You can't be bribed with approval. You don't fold under pressure because you've already made peace with loss, and you've chosen self-respect over survival. No one controls a person with nothing to lose, not because they want chaos, but because they've already found peace. And once you realize that peace isn't found in protection, but in surrender, you stop playing defense and start living on your own terms. When fear dies, so does manipulation. And at that moment, nobody and nothing will ever own your soul again. 9. Suffer in private, win in public. Because pressure isn't punishment, it's preparation. Identity is forged in the dark, in those lonely hours when no one's clapping, no one's watching, and no one cares. That's where your real self is born. You want strength? Then stop waiting for the world to see your effort. The grind doesn't post receipts, and it doesn't need to. The results will speak, but not today, not tomorrow. They'll speak when you've endured long enough without applause to deserve being heard. The ones who rise are the ones who learn to suffer well. Not loudly, not for sympathy, but quietly, for transformation. Every rejection, every setback, every moment where quitting felt easier than breathing, it's building something in you. Not just discipline, not just resilience, identity. Because success without struggle is a costume. But success after pain? That's character. Stop looking for validation while you're still in the furnace. It's not time yet. Let the work remain invisible. Let them think you're stagnant. Let them misread your silence. While they post about progress, you become it. Because when your identity is built in the fire, the outside world becomes irrelevant. You don't have to announce your healing. You don't have to prove your process. Show up. Shut up. Do the work. And when the time comes, when the moment is right, You'll walk into the light with something real, something earned, something unshakable. The world respects the win, but only you will ever know what it cost. That's what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it yours. Suffer in private, win in public. And no matter who doubts you now, they won't be able to deny you later, because real power doesn't brag. It becomes. 10. Identity before strategy. Because if your strategy isn't working, it's not the plan that's flawed, it's you. Too many people try to fix the outside before they fix the inside. They think a new tactic, a new approach, a new system will change everything. But the truth is, strategies are just reflections of the person executing them. If your identity isn't in alignment with your vision, no plan will ever work for long. You don't need a new plan. You need a new standard. The way you show up in the world is shaped by who you believe yourself to be. If you believe you're someone who is always in crisis, always a step behind, always struggling, then no strategy will save you. Success will remain just out of reach. But when you start with the belief that you are worthy, capable, and destined for greatness, that identity will guide every action, every decision, every move you make. Your strategy is a mere extension of your self-worth. You act like your worth, not your goals. Your goals are the destination, but your worth is the foundation. If you place your value in the outcome, you'll always feel like something is missing, like the success doesn't belong to you. But when your identity is rooted in knowing who you are, regardless of your achievements, you become untouchable. You don't need to chase success. You attract it because you've already decided who you are. So before you change your plan, change yourself. Define your standard. Align your actions with your identity. And watch how everything shifts. Because when your identity leads, your strategy will follow, and success will be inevitable. If this hit you in the gut, good. That means you're waking up. Nobody and nothing will shake you again, unless you let it. Now go fix the only thing you control. You. Subscribe to Mindrift for more inspiring Buddhist insights on living a powerful and peaceful life. The kind they can't touch,